because some of us are not tech savvy. Hindi po tayo ganun kagaling sa computer. I myself, no, I admit sometimes I really have to pull the attention of my children to please help me. I don't know what to do on this. How will I'm going to do this? Mas maano pa ang mga kabataan ngayon kaysa sa mga teacher. But you know, what we have to do, we need to acceptance. We have to accept na meron tayong kahinaan, meron din tayong mga kalakasan. The second, of course, there are new content of learning. We need to understand, we need to apply right now the student-centered rather than the teacher-centered. When we're talking about the student-centered, allow the students to talk, to inspire us, to listen to their story that has a relation to our subject. Because, you know, it is a two-way communication that students learn from us and we the teachers also learn from our students. Third, of course, there is a new process of learning. From face-to-face, now we are in our virtual classroom learning because nobody should be left behind. Never mind for those environmental distractions such as noise, hindi may iwasan yan because you are not living alone in your community. So expect dadaan ng mga sasakyan, maingay, mga aso, mga tao. Well, that's normal because this is the new normal. Kailangan nating mag-adjust gradually. I am not telling you to adjust yung agad-agad. Gradually, little by little, and soon we will going to adapt the new normal. Fourth, of course, the new types of learners. We have to consider that there are individual differences, that we have to appreciate and value each individual differences. I hope you still remember the topic that we had before in our subject. And of course, last is the new spaces and dimension of learning. The new dimension of learning is not only in the classroom. We can have it, yan na, eto na, yung SM sa Silong ng Mangga, kung saan may malakas ang internet, right? Kung saan tayo pwedeng lumabas. Hindi lang yun yung dimension sa learning natin nasa classroom ngayon. We are given the opportunity to explore that education and learning is not only, of course, nandun lang sa classroom. But learning pala can be found anywhere. In any circumstances, meron tayong natututunan. So, this morning, I hope that I share something positive, no? Positive human behavior towards this COVID-19, and we have to accept that we can no longer back to what is old, but we need to embrace the new normal for a new future. So thank you and blessed morning to everyone.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Claire.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Claire, for continuously reminding us of the beauty of life and the importance of faith and resilience in facing this pandemic.
My pleasure.
Once again, our Executive Director, Dr. Marie Claire B. Briones. How about a virtual clap for our Executive Director? Muli on behalf of the class, ma'am, maraming salamat po. Truly, we're honored to listen to this another brilliant speaker also present, I think. Nandito na ba si Sir? Is Sir Philip here now, Ma'am Evelyn? Parang hindi ko ba?
Later.
Okay, so...
Sir, isingit sila pag nakapasok na sila.
Alright. Later on, we'll be listening to the message of our Deputy Director for Academics, Research and Extension. But for the meantime, let's proceed to our very important message coming from this very able professor in PSU OUS, because this webinar will not be possible without the guidance and wisdom of our very able professor who is blessed with nurturing disposition. She is also the University Director for NSTP, Physical Education and Sports Development, at the same time the Program Advisor in the EDD program. To share with us her words of challenge, Let us meet and welcome Dr. Romary R. Lincoln.
Thank you to our vigorous Toastmaster, Sir John. And of course, to Ma'am Claire Briones, thank you for accepting our invitation and for that very inspiring message. I felt you really, Ma'am Claire. So thank you so much. And of course, congratulations in advance to all my students, my co-educators, okay, who really come up with this kind of webinar. Thank you so much. And also to Dr. Randy Ventayan for sharing with us, okay, our Director for PRPIO, sharing with us this Zoom link. So, to start with my words of challenge, students who are loved at home come to school to learn, and students who aren't come to school to be loved. Therefore, we must teach a child he is loved. Only then is he ready to learn everything else. And so, if you get my point, I'd like to share to you what I usually do every time I open my class. So every first meeting, I always inject to my students the value of love. That the moment you start this class, be sure that you like and love the subject and also love your teacher, your instructor or professor, and love the environment. And that is, I'm referring to your classmates. So be sure that you always put love to all subjects that you have and to the professors that you have, because in that case, you learn something from the subject. I hope you experience, okay? Try to go back to your experience during your undergrad years. To my students here in doctorate, wherein if you hated, okay, your professor and hate at the same time the subject, you will really learn nothing from that class. Dahil po nangingibabaw po yung galit, yung kainisan ninyo. So, start loving the environment. Children want the same things we want. To love, to be challenged, to be entertained and delighted. And I believe students are important. So we are here to help them grow. We listen to them and hold them to high expectations. So let's make them believe that they are capable and will succeed. It is not what we do for them, but what we have told them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. So let's inspire them. Let us always be an inspiration to our students. Never underestimate the power you have to take your life in a new direction. And this is now the sad reality that we are experiencing for almost more than a year. Okay, this pandemic. No one is coming to save us. This life of ours is 100% our responsibility. So, we all need, what do we need to do? To observe, okay, the proper observance of self-discipline. And this would now be the very first thing that we should teach our students. Self-discipline besides the value of love. That's why my first challenge to you, my dear co-educators, is to spread love. Love yourself, love your students, your workplace, your colleagues, and your profession. Because the wisdom of love is greater than a lifetime of knowledge. So may I end up leaving you the challenge in life to find your purpose and you find your peace. Do it right now. Sometimes later becomes never. So hope you get my point. So once again, good day and God bless everyone. Sir John Larry, the floor is yours now.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Romary Lingkod. Of course, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much once again, our very knowledgeable and of course experienced Professor Dr. Romary R. Lingkod. Sabi nga po ni Ma'am, I love the words given by Ma'am. Spread love and find your purpose. Very remarkable, Ma'am. Maraming salamat po. Tumatak talaga yan, Ma'am. So maraming salamat po once again. Dr. Romary R. Lingkod, how about a virtual clap for our very able professor? At this moment, of course, as your host for this webinar, I am honored to introduce the brilliant people who will feed not only our mind, but also our heart and soul with wisdom and encouragement. Our first speaker will talk about the principles and reflections in the midst of the global pandemic. He has her 6 years. Ladies and gentlemen, she is assistant professor 3 at Pangasinan Technological Institute, PTI, in Binmali, Pangasinan. My dear friends, I am giving you professor speaker is a Catholic priest for 17 years. And currently, he is the house formator at the Mary Help of Christians Theology Seminary in San Fabian, Pangasinan. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet Reverend Father Arvin Soriano. Our third speaker is the rector of the Mary Help of Christians Seminary in Binmali, Pangasinan. Ladies and gentlemen, I am presenting to you Reverend Father Eric. So my dear friends, they are our key speakers for today's webinar. And to begin with, let us all welcome our very first speaker. We have Professor Helen S. Aki to discuss on the principles and reflections in the midst of the global pandemic. How about Helen? The screen is yours now.
Thank you, Sir John Larry. May I have a sound check? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, you are audible.
Here, ma'am.
And before you start, Mom, sorry for the interruption, but may I request everyone to please, if we are not speaking, please maki-mute lang po para po wala pong noise disturbance po. Okay lang po? Alright, thank you. Alright, Miss Ma'am Helen, you may proceed now.
Thank you, ma'am. Before I will give my presentation, let me express my highest appreciation to our loving professor in Seminar in Advanced Philosophy of Education, Dr. Romary R. Lingkod. Our highest appreciation as well to the beautiful Executive Director of the PSU OUS, who has just given an amazing inspirational story, Dr. Marie Claire Leones. Likewise to our research idol, Deputy Director, Dr. Philip Quiroda. Likewise to other PSU officials, my dear classmates, guests from the ethics class, ladies and gentlemen, pleasant morning to all. Thank you for joining us today. I am Helen S. Aki, and I am delighted to share with you some of the principles and reflections in the midst of the global pandemic. May I have the next slide, please? Next slide. The global pandemic caused by COVID-19 has been transforming the lives of millions of people in an unimaginable way. We are all trying to adapt to this new reality. To the next slide. In these days of crisis and home quarantine, different principles and reflections that you might have experiences. So let me share some of these. First, to the next slide. First is, life is short and human beings are fragile. Crisis remind us that we are all fragile suddenly. In general, human beings make plans for the future, thinking that we are in control of our lives. But a small virus, a microorganism that we cannot even see, is enough to completely alter our routines and destroy our plans. You will feel sad and shocked on the news. That person you just saw before and talked with before is now gone. Just like this week, I have a two friend who died from COVID-19, whom I do not also expect that to happen because we just have a recent conversation. Truly, tomorrow is not ours. Truly, that there are only two things in life. We are born and we will die. So, let us enjoy each moment. Sing as if nobody is listening. Dance as if nobody up. It is a song by Miriam Villena entitled One Day at a Time. Please give me 45 seconds to sing each chorus. And it goes like this. One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking from you. Please give me the strength to do everything what I need to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Please teach me today, show me the way. One day talaga pong na-inspire lang po talaga ako sa kantang yun. If you want the song, you can share and like. So, may virtual clap naman po dyan. Thank you. I also searched a poem describing how short life is. It says there, not forever on earth, only a little while here. Though it be jade, it falls apart. Though it be gold, it wears away. Though they be quetzal feathers, they are thorns and not forever of peace. Johan, next slide please. Secondly, every life is important. All human beings are created in the image of and likeness of God. That's from Genesis chapter 1 verse 27. The image of God is the fundamental basis for the value and dignity of absolutely all people. The Bible teaches that God is a giver of life. So from conception to the grave, we must protect and value everyone's life. Human life is priceless, and no matter the economic consequences that a catastrophe like the COVID-19, we must fight at all costs to care for the lives of all. That is why na appreciation to our taking care of the COVID-19 patients. It will be a great success once a COVID survivor get out from the isolation. Another life was saved. This is also the time that we became more caring, more thoughtful to our family, to our friends, and to our colleagues. Next. Hello. Naririnig pa po ba ako?
Yes, Ma'am Helen.
Thank you.
Malinaw po.
So, another principle is that we are all the same. Diseases and crises do not make a difference between people and affect everyone equally. So sometimes we say that life is unfair, but now with this COVID-19, it is an even and that we are equal. Human beings try to distinguish economic signs us that we all can get sick and we are all interconnected and need each other. No matter what country we live in, no matter how old we are or what we do, we are all important and necessary in this world. The spread of the virus can only be stopped with the fraternal collaboration of all. And at the end, we are all the same, just a body with only our actions and other memories to define who we are. Fourth is, there is a brighter side. So, there is good in every evil. There is an old adage saying that there is good in every evil that I will positively use as a brighter side or view in this difficult and unexpected time. We are aware that everything has been taken away from its travels, business, and sadly, we cannot do anything about it. But we are not powerless. On the contrary, it is all of us together that can make the world a better place. If each of us respect and measures imposed by authorities, the situation will get better and it will pass much faster. So, this reminds us to be cooperative, to respect the authority, and just like what Ma'am Dr. Rosemary said a while ago, to have a self-discipline. There is also in this time that as we have tried things that we never had before, or just like this online class and other things. Now, we have more time to spend with our family. And ago that life is short. So, dialogue the misunderstandings immediately. Say I love you. Say sorry. Say thank you. And don't feel regret that you were not given the chance to say it. So, let me say to all of you, thank you. I love you all. Just like Ma'am Lingkot said a while ago, let us spread love. So now, we also have the time to read, appreciate music, which I also was influenced by Dr. Lingkod, how she appreciates music, and we now became aware of our health. So let us always see a good side in every situation. Another reflection is that COVID-19 attacks human beings but stirs up humanity as well. To be human is a matter of compassion and empathy with your fellow human beings. As Albert Einstein said in one of his quotes, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. So people need people. Let us be an inspiration to others. Just like Mom Dr. Briones said a while ago. Let us be strong for them. So likewise, now we value further for being an educator because we care and have a deep sense of responsibility to our learners who will be the future of the nation. Next slide, please. So the pandemic changes also our look up towards others in our global community. The people we do not know. We care for the elders, those who are economically weak, and those marginalized in their own countries. COVID-19 changes our perspective to value hard work, our frontliners, and help us see them with respect and dignity. That's why because of this, we have some community pantry because we want to help each other. On the next slide, please, we'll give you the sixth reflection. So COVID-19 seizes religious freedom, but kindles faith. Human beings tend to turn to prayer in times of crisis or difficulties. So this is the time that we became more prayerful. But unfortunately, religious places are being closed. Next slide, please. Before let me go on this sixth principle, let me give you a question to reflect. This was being raised during the homily of Father Alan Abuan during our Thanksgiving Mass last August 25. And I was touched by his homily. He started by asking us, when you go always to church, where do you go when you die? Is it in heaven or in hell? Of course, everybody of us answered heaven. But what are your answer? Who says heaven? Can you please raise your hand? Okay. Perhaps all of you will also say heaven. But Father Abuan said, no, you will go to hell. Going to church is not enough. We have to enhance our spirituality. When we go to church and attend Mass, we receive Christ. And, di ba sabi nila, we are what we eat. So, for example, if we love eating chocolates, we become diabetic. If we love eating mga salty foods, an illness in terms of our kidney, our liver. So we are what we are. So when we go to church, we receive Christ. So when we go out, we have to be like Christ. So we have to be more forgiving, be more loving, and give more. And I know that my co-speakers, Father Arvin and Father Eric, can give a profound discussion about this spirituality. On the next slide, please. So, as we have the 21st century or the Industrialized Revolution 4.0 in the Education Center, education sector, maybe we can also have this spiritual innovation. This is a method of praying from home, which is it's like a resemblance of our work from home. Praying from home will bring in a faithful realization that all can have access to God through Christ Jesus, and all have the priestly responsibility of interceding for other people to God. It will be a time for understanding that similar to fellowships in physical church buildings, family members praying together in their homes is the real church in a spiritual sense. The call in line with Jesus said in the Gospel of Matthew 18, verse 20, "For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." Such a divine responsibility needs to be handled with faith. COVID-19 pushes us hard to rekindle our faith, to see God's intervention in overpowering the disastrous effect of coronavirus. So let us unceasingly pray. As you remember, Mother will call us everybody every time it's 6 p.m. And our grandmother. So why not try it again? Why not do it again? For the spiritual innovation. For the next slide, please. Well, we know that it is in this time that communication and technology plays a significant role. We have now various forms of communication, such as our group chat, our video call, Zoom, and other applications, which are vital in our work and professions. We have to be updated as the instruction may have a quick change due to the situation. So let us also appreciate previous slide. And pwede pong paki-mute. Thank you, Sir Marvin. Let us also appreciate the use of technology. Because of this, we can have a short message to our friends, to our relatives. We could say, "Hi, hello, how are you?" And this can cheer them up, whether they are sick, they are stressed, or they have some depression. And this simple gesture may save them from the difficult situation they are facing. Now is the time also that we became techy, that even our legendary teachers just like me need to have knowledge in the ICT. Let's proceed to the next slide, please. Prevention is better than cure. The pandemic is a strong reminder that ignoring science carries steep costs. Scientists have long warned about infectious diseases, especially since the recent outbreak of Ebola, SARS, and the bird flu. And now it is better to stop something bad from happening than it is to deal with it after it has happened. So now we are cautious on what we eat. We tend to stay at home. We just celebrate our occasions at home. We need to talk less to prevent the spread of the virus. We need to take vitamin C. We need to undergo vaccine because we believe that this will prevent us from being infected. Let's proceed to the next slide for our next principle. So, go green. Let me also add this. that we need to follow the habit of going green. Going green means to pursue knowledge and practices that can lead to more environmentally friendly and a logical, responsible decisions and lifestyle, which can help protect the environment and sustain its natural resources for current and future generations. Now, due to limited human activity, I think our Mother Earth is now quite revived. It is in this quiet time that we relieve our stress through nature, through our green environment. So siguro babalik ang dating kulay ng ilog, babalik ang dating kulay ng karagatan. Going green is also, to the next slide please. I would like to define also going green is also planting vegetable for our food. If let us use our quarantine days to plant and have something to eat. Diba, nasa bahay po tayo, so pag tayo po ay nagtanim, na-exercise ka na, naging makabuluhan pa ang oras mo, at may masustansyang gulay ka pa. And I believe that if every family or every learner that we have has a vegetable garden, I believe every Filipino can have food in their table. But if they don't have enough space, Rika Jane.
Rika Jane, kindly mute your microphone please. Thank you.
Dun pa po sa previous slide, ma'am. So if you don't have enough space, then perhaps you can plant from the recycled containers and call it an urban garden. But I believe in the rural areas, we still have a lot of idle land that could be used for this vegetable garden. And for the next slide is to give my last but not the least reflection and principle. Life is simple. I've been living on this kind of principle, which I have learned from my Indian professor in our training seminar in women empowerment. He says that life is simple and that only human make it complicated. Actually, basically, we only need food na pwede naman din po natin kunin ang iba doon sa ating mga tanim. But however, as an individual, we still wanted to have some food from the fast food. But because of our pandemic, now we learn to cook and we learn to appreciate a homemade food. We also need home, but sometimes as an individual, we also wanted to have a mansion or even second house, or may mga tatlo pa nga pong bahay. But I think one house that will serve as our home is enough. Next slide is, we also need, next slide please ma'am, clothing. There you go. I am also, I also have this principle to one of the sisters when I attended a retreat. She said, there are only 7 days in a week. So, therefore, we might only need at least 7 sets of clothing. But, we people do not feel satisfied. We keep on buying and let all our cabinets be filled with this clothing. So I think in this time of pandemic, we can also share this. So bring them out and wear them out. Wear your best clothes. And for those excess, you can bring them or give them to those who are in need. Most especially doon sa mga nasunugan. So, Don't pressure yourself. Really, all we need is some good food, a warm and safe place to live, and maybe a bit of rainy day money to meet those costs that we don't anticipate. I am reminded perhaps we could add as a basic needs now is because of the pandemic is a vehicle. But let's not make it superfluous. We also need mobile phones, internet, but sometimes we make personal loans and buy things that we don't actually need. And then, therefore, because we have loans, so we need to work and work to get enough money to pay for it. We have holidays not because we want them, but because we need them to get a breather between all the nonsense we are involved in. And then, however, most of the people need another holiday to get over the one they have just had with all the family fightings and disappointing experiences. So, why spend those? Go with your family, you say sorry, you solve the problem immediately, and love each other. So don't pressure yourself. Appreciate what you have. Enjoy holiday. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is we have a home where we can have a sound sleep. Just be simple in everything that you do. Be simple and straight. Just simply do your best in everything that you do. And sabi ko nga, and if my best is not enough, then that is their fault. Thank you for that slide, ma'am. Next, please. So I have a question for you to reflect. What are your personal learnings or reflections in this pandemic? Did I mention some? But I know there are still a lot more because life itself can bring many teaching and learnings that could change or elevate our perspectives. Whatever reflections you may have, let us all practice joy while healing is still in process. Let us not stop from smiling, though it was covered by a face mask. Your smile can be reflected in your eyes. Let us see good in life and let us get stronger and believe that God is preparing us for something that is best. God knows what's best for us. Thank you very much and God bless us.
Once again, that is Ma'am Helen Isaki, and thank you, ma'am, for sharing with us those thoughts to ponder on. Indeed, we can only survive this pandemic if we have this presence of mind, the positivity in mind, of course, and we will survive this pandemic if we have the faith. I just want to put emphasis on one of the thoughts and reflections you have shared, Ma'am Helen, that we are all the same. No matter how wealthy you are, no matter how poor your life is, in this pandemic, we are all the same. We are experiencing the same crisis. And of course, we will survive this if we will nurture ourselves with enough faith and presence of mind. Thank you so much, Ma'am Helen and Aki, for the very wonderful talk. You've really inspired us to ponder more on this pandemic and the things that is happening, the thing that is happening right now. Thank you so much, ma'am. I believe our participants have learned a lot from our first speaker. May I just remind everybody that you may type in your questions or queries in our chat box, and we will be entertaining your questions later on in our open forum. I believe nandito na po ang mga students ni Ma'am Romary sa undergrad, and they are listening, and maybe they will be participating during our open forum. At this moment, before we proceed with our next speaker, actually dalawa po sila. Before we proceed with our next speaker, let's have first an icebreaker to break the monotony. Of course, we have here Mr. Jerry Castro and Ma'am Concepcion Castro to facilitate our icebreaker.
Okay, good morning po sa lahat. Actually, this is a very simple activity lang po na I know everyone will participate.
Welcome.
Alam niyo po ito, very simple lang po. Very short. Ano po ba ito? Share screen. Naibigay ko ba yung
Welcome to
video?
everyone.
Kasi may magna-narrate po sa video. If you want to answer po, to guess, to name the emotion shown on the video, just raise your hand po. Tapos, kayo po ang magbibigay ng sagot before po namin i-show kung ano po yung correct answer. Okay po ba?
Yes. Ma'am Josefa, naka-on yung mic mo. Thank you.
Okay, so kung ready na po ang lahat, ito po yung video, yung short game po natin to break the ice for this.
Name that emotion. The game show where you have to name that emotion. The theme for today is social awareness. Social awareness requires you to show empathy and take the perspective of others. It involves being able to put yourself in the shoes of others. Social awareness also involves the ability to name the emotions of others. Here are the rules of the game. First, I will give a scenario. Then, you will have 5 seconds to think of an answer and respond. You will have 3 rounds to try and name that emotion. Round 1. Duke entered a contest on the radio and won $500 cash. But that's not all. Duke also won a trip to LA to see his favorite artist Drake perform live. What emotion best describes how Duke is currently feeling? Fear, excitement,
Pause natin muna yung video. Thank you po. Before po natin ipakita po yung mga choices po, pwede yung tayo po muna yung mag-guess kung ano po yung emotion na pinapakita po ng character po doon sa video. Okay lang po ba? So since nandito na po yung mga choices sa first scenario, sino po yung sasagot kung ano po yung emotion ni Duke. Scenario po na naipakita.
Anyone po, paki-raise lang yung hand nyo.
To our participants, you may raise your hand if you want to answer.
Kaya parang hindi ko po makita lahat ng participants. Okay, Sir Ronnie. Ano po yung emotion ni Duke sa first scenario po natin?
Hello ma'am, good morning.
Sir,
Good morning.
So, if hindi ko pa po nakita yung mga choices, ang feeling ko ang emotion is happy and excited.
Ayan.
and excited. So this time, tignan po natin kung ano po yung emotion po, yung correct answer po doon po sa scenario po natin. I-click na po ulit, resume na po ulit yung video po natin.
He is feeling a great deal of joy and excitement. Round number 2. A week later, Duke received some bad news. Due to the coronavirus and social distancing,
his trip to see Drake's performance live in LA is canceled. What do you think Duke is probably feeling? Sadness, jealousy, happiness?
Okay, so sa pangalawang video po natin, sa pangalawang scenario po natin, yung flight po ni Duke, it was canceled due to the pandemic. So of course, again, we have here choices. Okay, Ma'am Mylene Joyce po.
Ma'am, nung nakita ko po yung video po, para sa akin po sadness.
Okay,
Yung feeling,
sadness.
yung emotion po niya.
Yung emotion po ni Duke, he was sad. He's sad when like,
That's right, Duke is feeling sad that his trip was canceled. He is extremely disappointed, which has him feeling down. Round 3, our last and final round. Duke was feeling really sad that his trip to LA to see Drake's performance live was canceled. But one day, out of the blue, Duke got a call and it was Drake. Duke couldn't believe it. Drake told Duke that once social distancing is over, he would make sure that he got VIP tickets to attend his concert. Drake also gave Duke an extra $500 cash. What emotion best describes how Duke is probably feeling?
right, for our last and third scenario, ito po ang sasagot.
Sir
We have Sir
Jasper,
Jasper Ocampo. Sir Jasper Ocampo.
Sir Jasper.
Hi, good morning. So yung napanood ko po yung video and yung last na scenario po kay Drake, kay Duke is syempre happy po siya. Happy.
Right, so your answer, sir, is happy.
Yes, ma'am.
Tignan po natin ano po yung correct answer for Duke's emotion.
Loneliness, surprise, worry. If you said surprised, then you are absolutely right. Thanks for playing Name That Emotion. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media at Lessons for
Thank you
SEM.
very much po. So, emotion is an important role in our social life as a human being. Our emotions, sabi nga po, can make us or break us. So, in this simple game, I just want to share also that whatever circumstances we're facing right now, let's always choose to guard our heart emotion so that we can always spread positivity to other people. Sabi nga po ni Ma'am Romary kanina, always spread love. Especially as an educator, we must learn to hide our negative emotions. We must always ask God to help us overcome negative emotions so it won't affect the quality of learning that we can give to our learners. So, yun lang po. Don't get affected by the negative news that we kept on hearing this day. Always be positive. And God bless everyone. I just want to thank po, sir, yung mga participants po natin, yung mga naki-participate po sa simple game po natin, Sir Ronnie, Ma'am Mylene, and Sir Jasper. Thank you po. Yun lang po.
Once again, thank you so much for that very entertaining and very educational social emotional learning through Mr. Jerry Castro and Mrs. Concepcion Castro. Indeed, we really need to learn from our emotions, and we should also monitor the status of our emotion during this pandemic. And of course, despite the health crisis, we have to make sure that there is always positivity in terms of our mindset and emotion, because we will again survive this pandemic if we are all positive in terms of our mindset and emotion. Once again, thank you so much for that very nice icebreaker. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I think our two speakers are ready for our next session. My dear friends, fellow educators, our next speakers will be talking about the human person as being towards death. Ladies and gentlemen, I am presenting Father Arvin Soriano and Father Eric Gativo. How about a virtual clap?
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning to our most able professor, Dr. Romary Lingkod, to the PSU US Director, Mary Claire, and her deputy, Dr. Philip Iroda, to all my classmates and participants in this webinar. The topic that I, together with Father Eric Galivo, has chosen, at first it may look very philosophical, but I would like to relate it with the subject matter that we have, which is the advanced philosophy of education, and at the same time also taking into consideration the current situation that the world is now in. So, may I ask, yes, so, hello, can you hear me? May I have
Yes, sir. Yes, Father,
yes,
loud and clear po.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, the first slide, please. The human person as being towards death. So let me just give you a short background about who is Martin Heidegger. So Martin Heidegger was born in the year 1889, and he died in the year 1976. So still recent, we may say. He is a German philosopher, and his works are associated with phenomenology and existentialism. And one famous work of his is entitled Being Untied. Being Untied. Now, his work, especially on the study of being and the human being's existence, actually has enormous influence in every humanistic discipline. Now, what I will be offering to you in this webinar together with Father Eric is his concept, his philosophical concept of Dasein. So Dasein is a German word, okay, because Heidegger is a German. He used this Dasein, which literally means in English as being there, okay? Being there. Or we can also translate it as the human reality, the human reality. So what is the concept of Martin Heidegger?